We don't usually do themes on Don't Praise the Machine, but this week I've decided that the theme of Don't Praise the Machine is going to be superfine tailoring black style. And John, I would like you, if you could please focus on the rich tradition of black dandyism and its role in shaping black identity through fashion. Can you do that for me, buddy, please?
Sure can. I've done that this week by wearing this olive green shirt paired with a nice slime green background.
I love that. You know who'd love that? Lewis Hamilton, Pharrell. They would celebrate you for that.
LeBron James.
LeBron. We are, of course, talking about and lightly mocking the Met Gala as we do every year. And do not worry, don't praise us. It will not stay light for long. I got a whole lot of problems with this, and you're going to hear about them. Yeah. Don't Praise the Machine as of years gone by. Know that this is become an annual tradition.
It's a story tradition on the show, yeah.
It's a story tradition on the show, and this year's is interesting, I think, because of the absence of criticism that it has so far received in contrast to last year's, and we're going to get into that. So, John, what I want to talk about today is, of course, the Met Gala. It's everybody's favorite annual phony festival of tone-deaf, elitist exclusivity and excess. A show of extreme wealth and status with extravagantly costumed celebrities. We're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about what was it all about this year.
Yeah.
Why was there no blockout?
Yeah.
Why is there no blockout 2024 of the gorgeous celebrities? Now we're going to talk about where you need to go to find real criticism of events like this. Spoiler alert, it's not the mainstream media. It's with alternative media like us guys at Don't Praise the Machine. It's with alternative media like us guys at Don't Praise the Machine. You're not going to get reverb like that in the mainstream media, ladies and gentlemen. You can't get those kind of effects.
No.
In mainstream media. You're not going to hear that on CNN.
Not going to get that on NBC or CNN or
in the BBC,
Washington Post.
Or even Fox, USA Today. You're not going to get stuff. The Daily Mail forgot about it. We're going to talk about, again, where to find real criticism, and you're in the right place. Now and then we're going to talk about who is on our world famous Don't Praise the Machine annual cancelled list. And this is, of course... Every year, we go through the people that attended the Met Gala, and we make sure that we put them on what's called the naughty list, and they're never allowed to be a guest on Don't Praise the Machine. Sometimes this is really, it hurts us a lot because these are friends of the show. Some of these are friends of the show, and you just got to say, if you went to this.
Sometimes they're people who would be guests and would really raise the profile of the podcast, but we have to say that's not the route to fame and fortune. We can't compromise our principles on the way up. You know, maybe there'll be a celebrity that lives in the same suburb of Melbourne that I do. Doesn't matter.
Definitely.
If she
surely Troy has been. Surely Troy Sivan has been to the Met Gala. He seems like
it's Troy,
pure Met Gala.
Classic Troy bait. And but as we'll get into, a certain cast member of a hit series about a wealthy family. John. It broke my heart.
There's a whole bit on that. Absolutely broke my heart because we had this person lined up as a guest. It was going to be a big important guest that we were going to heap praise on. And naughty list. We have the rules.
You're on the don't praise list.
You're on the don't praise list. Exactly. And then we are going to finish out the show. I actually want to add this year what I call the heroes list, and that's people that didn't go.
So quite people a lengthy that list this year.
Definitely people that would have been invited, would have been there in previous years and have chosen for one reason or another to not go. So they're people that you can expect to see on the show over the next few weeks. So, John Malone, for anybody that doesn't know, shall we just kick it off? For anybody that doesn't know what the Met Gala is.
Yeah.
Met Gala, it's an annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Arts Costume Institute in New York City. You and me have both been to the Met. I know you've been a bunch of times. It's a beautiful, beautiful building with a lot of amazing art inside.
One of the world's best.
one of the world's best, and once a year, celebrities showcase their extravagant fashion in line with a theme exhibition, and it's hosted by Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour,
the devil.
the devil who wears Prada. And some of you might know her from Meryl Streep and Anne Hathaway. Anna Wintour has chaired the event since 95, often alongside a rotating group of celebrity co-hosts. Now, this year's theme, John, there's a theme every year for the fancy celebrities. This year's theme, as we alluded to earlier, super fine, tailoring black style, focusing on the rich tradition of black dandyism and its role in shaping black identity through fashion. Apparently, the theme was inspired by Monica L. Miller's 2009 book, Slaves to Fashion, Black Dandyism and the Styling of Black Diasporic Identity. Wow. That sounds like the book for me.
I would have said space or, I don't know, pirates.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
That's fucking great. That would have been so good. Race cars. Racing.
Race cars. It's just like there's like a 5-year-old birthday party theme. Superheroes, or you could do your favorite colors, flowers.
Flowers, or
his theme is flowers. Dragons.
The problematic Australian party theme, which has popped up over the last few years, which is high vis gear, which is kind of, I think, deeply problematic. But
bit classist, do you think?
But people are
or bogan parties. People have them in Australia.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, kind of like. But maybe that's a better example of it. And accompanied by the Costume Institute's spring exhibition of the same name. Blah 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 blah. Tickets cost this year $75,000, but most of the celebrities, from what I read, don't really pay that. It's paid by probably their management, or there's like some other sponsor that pays for them to do it, or something like that. Now, why do we love it on Don't Praise the Machine? Why do we love / hate it on Don't Praise the Machine? Maybe because it is a somewhat gross exhibition of elitism, status, and a disconnect from the real world.
Yeah.
And I think what gets me about it the most, John, is how it's normalized by, in particular, and I have examples of this in a moment that we'll get into, I'm staggered that it is an event which is just wealthy elites costumifying themselves, fancying about and saying, look at us, we're amazing. And it is, in fact, more or less left-leaning media that holds this up as an amazing beacon of what you should all be paying attention to, rather than there being quite stark criticism from those publications who are quite happy to say things about, oh, look, this group of people is oppressed. But then at the same time, I counted, and I had to stop counting, the New York Times. I'll read them in a sec, but they have a section for the Met. There's 15 articles I had to stop. I'd stopped after 15.
Wow.
Just
this year.
Talking about just this year. So what do you think about what I've said there, John?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is interesting. I think one of the reasons we're interested in it is we love the kind of dance, the delicate dance that celebrities do to make sure that their heads don't end up on the top of pikes. And one of the tricks that they play is, to kind of point away from the fact that they've amassed huge amounts of wealth and that the general quality of the product that they're putting out has declined, and that it's much more of a business and less of an artistic pursuit for many of them than we would be comfortable admitting, etc. All of that is neatly avoided by a variety of techniques, like claiming that they're on the kind of cutting edge of, social progress and claiming that they stand up for causes that matter and that they're subversive and interesting. And the Met kind of typifies some of that. I mean, it also it also, to an extent, doesn't. And one of the things that puzzles me about it is that it is such a kind of open display of their degree of opulence, their kind of, and their degree of kind of self-obsession. The whole,
Yes.
as a public spectacle, because we don't really get to know what goes on at the Met unless you pay $75,000. You don't get to go to the, coke-fueled orgies or whatever, but you do get to see them ascending a broad staircase and posing in these enormously elaborate gowns, like something that happened in the years leading up to the French Revolution. And it's just this kind of shameless display, but it's couched, of course, again, as I guess a nice defensive tactic, perhaps unconsciously, but it's couched in, well, this is a fundraiser. It's the Met, it's high culture and everyone loves it. It's in the public interest that the Met has lots of money. So we're all here for a good cause. So we can just throw caution to the wind and be as opulent as we want because we're, under the auspices of that justification. And of course, it's run by Anna Wintour. It's sort of famously nasty, but also somebody who seemingly kind of revels in her nastiness as a reputation and yet hasn't really been, like, people go, yeah, she's a really difficult bullying sort of person, but that hasn't led to her being cancelled. She still kind of maintains her position somehow. And so it's a confounding spectacle. And of course, last year we were optimistic about that all, about the kind of charade collapsing in a heap, because there was a huge sort of wake-up call. It came at a moment of, global geopolitical tumult, and people were kind of saying, this is a kind of disgusting spectacle in the context of what's going on in the Middle East and what, the cost of living crisis and so on. And people tuned out in large numbers and derided it in large numbers. And so it's interesting to think about this year's theme as a tactical response on the part of Anna Wintour and her team to that dilemma and to the questions people were asking last year about, what future does the Met Gala really have?
Yeah. And I would say, John, hats off to her, because it appears to be a tactical play that has paid off very well. It seems to be, and we spoke about this when we discovered the theme for this year's Met Gala some time ago, that it would inculcate the Met Gala from criticism, because all you need to, it's a classic tactic. You pick like a historically oppressed group of people. It could be black people, it could be gay people, it could be trans people. I would have said that probably most obviously that this year the go-to was race, because the gender thing in itself is getting, I think the public sympathy for some elements of that cause have become slightly more complicated or slightly perhaps less positive in the last couple of years than they have been just like a blanket, everything's amazing. Whereas, so I think if she'd said like, hey, it's like the, our theme this year is like trans, that would have been a bridge too far. So she's gone, okay, well, I'll just say like black dandyism, and then people won't be able to say that we're all horrible elitists with a lack of any kind of diversity. It's the classic, don't look at class. I mean, this is another theme of Don't Praise the Machine that I just want everybody to be aware of. Why isn't the theme of next year's Met Gala class warfare or Karl Marx? Why isn't it like
or tax justice, maybe?
Tax, exactly. Why is it always like black this and Native American that and gay this and gay? Why doesn't it have anything? Why aren't they ever talking about class warfare at the Met? Why isn't that a theme next year?
They're causes that, famously LA people are on board with, because they don't really call for a kind of reordering of socioeconomics. They just call for a sort of symbolic solidarity with a particular group that doesn't really cost you anything as an individual in that community. But also, I mean, we had a brief chat about it once the theme was announced, and it did seem to me kind of fraught with danger, because I thought, well, you picked a theme which is about, for one thing, it's kind of about men's fashion, but more importantly, it's about black fashion. And I'm not sure if I was invited, as a white celebrity that I am, how I would approach that, because you want to avoid any kind of allegations of cultural appropriation, of blackface, things like that. And I don't know to what extent this was calculated, but that effect, that kind of concern perhaps, seems to have led to a very boring aesthetic.
Very safe.
A very safe aesthetic. A couple of the articles
Nobody turned up. Nobody, like, we were thinking it was going to be Bad Bunny dressed like a pimp.
Exactly.
Or, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People taking a few risks, but of course that's
Afro wigs, just
exactly
white guys in Afro wigs and flares.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe you get Chet Hanks breaking out his famous patois accent, but there was none of that. And in fact, I mean, the articles that I've read from the Sun, from the Daily Mail, those abiding sources of content on this podcast that they are, basically complained that, it was extremely boring and uneventful. But of course that's a salve. Probably that was the best thing that they could have done, because of last year attracting so much adverse attention, just to kind of fly under the radar and have a bunch of celebrities come in grey, white and black outfits that were like pretty staid and dull, with a few exceptions, but nobody. So
people who don't remember last year, what happened was there was a campaign on TikTok that got a lot of legs, which was called Blockout 2024, where one particular TikTok user started an account that I think he called Blockout 2024, and he said, all of these celebrities who are showing off in their fancy pants gowns and having a very Marie Antoinette let them eat cake evening, they all make their money from us as the public. So, and they make their money from the attention that we give them. So block them all on social media. And then famously, we spoke in the weeks after the Met Gala last year that it looked like this actually led to. We had a discussion about the fact that so many celebrities just blatantly buy social media followers in a way that you're just like, it's so shameless because it can be tracked. Yeah. But they just trust the fact that not enough people know, even if care. So I think it was Beyonce. No, it was one of the Kardashians. I thought was losing millions of followers,
just hemorrhaging followers. Yeah.
And then she just bought them from a bot farm in India or China, and you can just see it because it's the internet. So it's just like, oh, these followers, you just put the URL of their Instagram account into a fake follower checker, and it just said, oh yeah, all these followers are just fake. Yeah. And they just don't care, and they just don't answer. They just shrug their shoulders and go, I don't have to talk. I don't have to talk to you.
Anyone who wants can follow me. I don't know what's going on. Like, it's just social media. But yeah,
so that was last year.
And they had, I'm trying to remember the name of this person, because they were a kind of minor celebrity influencer who was at the pre-party, I think, and they were filming a video of the 2024, a clip of the 2024 Met Gala, and they actually said, let them eat cake, I think, and maybe even dressed as Marie Antoinette.
It was a red carpet reporter who didn't even actually get to go to the event. I don't even think she was on the official red carpet. She was like two blocks away.
And then she was kind of, torn down by trolls for again, typifying that kind of shameless elitism and almost kind of waving, thumbing her nose at people who criticize the Met Gala by saying, like, yeah, it absolutely is shameless elitism and fuck you because you can't be here.
And that was go on.
Which, I don't know, in one sense it was like a relief, because I thought, well, at least we're getting to the point where people are being honest about what's going on here and we can have it out. And I wasn't sure what would happen this year, but unfortunately, there seems to not be, so far at least, I assume this podcast will be a turning point, but there seems to not be any outright boycotting or, disenchantment or whatever, people screaming about it.
Well, I think what people have to understand is that this event is very much, it's a symbiotic relationship between the event and the entertainment industry and the media in general. So you have to understand that it's in the best interest of The Guardian, the Daily Mail, The Sun, the New York Times, both media publications on the right and left. They need access not only to the event itself, but they need access to the people involved. Everybody needs to be sharing sponsorships and things like this. So it's this kind of, it's an ecosystem that everybody is benefiting from in these media organizations and the Met. So you can't be the New York Times and go, we're just going to do 15 hit pieces about Anna Wintour and all the celebrities who we need to run our entertainment stories. Like, we need access, and they need coverage, and they need their reputations to be shown in a certain light, which we provide as the New York Times.
Yeah, okay. So if you did that, if the New York Times did that, I mean, they've published some kind of muted criticism last year, but if they went all out, then I presume those people's agents would just be like, you're not speaking to this person, and or maybe this agency would say, you're not speaking to any of our talent.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so, and also, so like, and it's symbiotic. It's a symbiotic relationship in that the New York Times gets 15 pieces of media to write, and it's also
which people are going to click on for sure.
Which people are going to click on, and then and it's the same with the Daily Mail. What's quite funny is like the Daily Mail did most of the same things as the New York Times, except they added a few spicy, like it was boring. It was like, you know, they classic Daily Mail clickbait stuff, like this person's dress was dreadful, a bit more kind of a bit of that kind of Daily Mail acid that you're not going to get at the New York Times. But let me just read you. So this is like, so first of all, the only pieces of criticism I could find are on TikTok. So you can say what you want about TikTok, but God bless TikTok, because I couldn't find, I was going Met Gala criticism 2025, and it was just wall to wall either praise or saying it was great. The only thing I could find from the mainstream media that had any type of criticism were two things. One, the Daily Mail said, it was a bit boring, and Anna Wintour has like had her day. Classic Daily Mail, let's do a celeb takedown. And then one article in the New York Times was complaining about the fact that like people that go to the Met Gala get better tax exemptions than the regular person on the street. That was it. So let me just read you this. So this is from, again, this is the New York Times, which is meant to be like a progressive, let's help the little guy publication. New York Times, Met Gala raises the bar with record haul of $31 million. Fans lament treatment of Indian stars at the Met Gala red carpet, because apparently like the Indian stars didn't get enough.
Bollywood stars,
people didn't know who they were or something like that.
No.
Met Gala after parties, Jenna Ortega, Lisa, and other celebrities, unforgettable looks at the 2025 Met Gala, Zendaya, Diana Ross, and more. Kamala Harris makes a surprise appearance at Met Gala. Superfine. Tailoring black style at the Met explores the history of black dandyism. America's premier living dandy doesn't want the title. To create a portrait of modern dandy, the Met enlisted a superstar. Your most loved looks from the 2025 Met Gala. Why stars were wearing custom eBay at the Met Gala. Andre 3000 drops surprise album after Met Gala piano statement. Janelle Monáe is a time-traveling dandy at the Met Gala. A dandy night at his first Met Gala. And then it's like that's all New York Times. And then you have, and it was the same thing with like The Guardian, and then again The Sun and the Daily Mail on the other end of the political spectrum did the exact same thing, as in look how amazing everybody
beautiful
looked.
Dresses, blah blah blah.
Nowhere did anybody say this is elite classist status. This is a problem, and this needs to go away.
The Daily Mail's to the extent that it's a takedown or a criticism, it's a criticism of it not being more Met Gala, really. It's like, these celebrities didn't show up. Where was Billie Eilish? Where was Ariana Grande? Blah, blah, blah. And, and then it was like, Gigi Hadid was off theme, but she at least had an interesting dress, whereas Hailey Bieber's dress was really boring, blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't kind of like, it wasn't getting to the root of like, we don't like the Met Gala. It was like, we're disappointed because we were looking forward to the Met Gala.
Yeah. Which is which I think is incredible. But I also think people should just be
And now
aware.
we're part of that ecosystem, because if not for the Met Gala, we wouldn't know what this episode would be about.
Well, it's funny, the schism that is just growing wider and wider between what you might call alternative media or like the podcast sphere and like Hollywood. There's like no podcasters except, I would say, Emma Chamberlain, who's a total sellout, who started on YouTube and is now just like all in on celeb world.
Yeah, she was there. But
she was there.
Was there a kind of were there critical voices in alternative media?
Yes.
Not
as many as I would have liked to find, but by far the one that I found the easiest is Megyn Kelly, who used to be on Fox News, and she was like she famously had was it a lawsuit with Roger Ailes, John? Or was
I think so.
And she's gone independent, like so many of these people who started off on like big networks, and her criticism
was, or what does she do?
It's like it is a podcast, but it's like a video podcast as well.
Yeah.
And it was just, I thought it was razor sharp and really, it was exactly the kind of stuff that I would have liked to have said, but I'm not as articulate as her. And she just said, like,
you're more of a
like,
Roger Ailes type character.
I'm more of a Roger Ailes type of guy. I just cannot listen to a woman saying anything and take it seriously. So no, her criticism was amazing, and it was like razor sharp. And it was the only place that I could find it, except for like TikTok videos from regular TikTok users who were going, and again, it's not a huge movement, at least I haven't seen it yet. And we're still only a few days out from the Met Gala having finished. And I wouldn't be surprised if people who are more like, just more people who are on alternative media YouTube podcasts. I know a lot of these people have huge issues with this kind of like celebrity elitism world, and so I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm sure Tim Dillon will do a bit on it. I would hope so, because he famously loathes people like Meghan Markle and all those types. And it's very much that kind of world. Yeah. So again, like, you can say what you want about TikTok, but I'm constantly finding quite reasonable people saying things on TikTok because they don't have to keep Anna Wintour happy. They don't have to keep sponsors happy, so they can just be honest and just be like, this is fucking gross. Whereas like all these traditional media organizations have to go, this is so good. And it's so obvious. Like, you're just looking at it going, am I in crazy town? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. What is so impressive about this? I mean, it's true. You're right. I'm sure there's a kind of an elaborate ecosystem of people, not only who have this kind of professional dependency on each other, and I'm talking about like journalists, agents, celebrities, various kind of go-betweens, the people who work at the Met,
and advertisers is a huge advertisers.
Yeah. But also a lot of people in that world, have actual relationships with each other because they all move in that universe. So they probably, a softball on each other because they're breathing the same air. I mean, I'm sure that the editor in chief of the New York Times is going to charity galas 3 or 4 times a week and probably running into half the people who turn up at those things. So.
Well, if you're an actor, because of the fact that Hollywood is traditionally, it's very sort of monopolistic in the way that there's not a ton of room for like independent movies to get out or independent shows. You can't like piss off Netflix or piss off major studios and still be an actor. Yeah. So when your agent says to you, hey, you're going to the Met Gala because you were in that show and so you're just doing it. You don't get to say what I'm saying. You don't get to go like, nah, that's a fuck fest of phonies. That's the end of your career. You're not getting a job in Hollywood.
Then they just say, all right, fine. See ya. Yeah. That said, I mean, there were some notable absences this year, and I wondered why. I wondered if that was just a lack of I don't know, like maybe it's not a big deal. Maybe they don't turn up every year, but maybe it's also that there was too much blowback last year and people saw it as a bit of a liability and thought, well, I'm not really interested in trying to dress according to black dandyism, so I'm just not going to show up. And I'm talking, I mean, you would have a better sense than
Yeah, if you
me.
wouldn't mind, John. I thought what we could do
You've got a
first is go
list.
through the cancelled list and then the
Yeah,
heroes
let's
list.
do the naughty list first.
Let's
Good
do the
idea.
naughty list. So we'll go through this, and some of these are hilarious because they're just don't praise the machine, like villains, like many of them.
Right.
And I guess this kind of speaks to the fact that this is why we don't like this event. And it's no surprise when you read the people that are going, oh, yeah, we did a whole episode about how that person's a cunt. And like, so many of them.
Totally.
These are the...
I hope Mindy Coleen's in there.
I'm about to make you so sad, John. I'm about to make you so sad. Get ready. Here we go. So these are the people that are on the banned list from Don't Praise the Machine and will never come on the show, and we will never have anything to do with them. Starting with one of my favorite musicians of all time, an absolute musical genius, Pharrell Williams. He was one of the co-chairs. Then we've got Lewis Hamilton, Formula One star, ASAP Rocky. I'm talking about, this one broke my heart because she's not, this is like Pamela Anderson. Pamela, I'm not interested if you're showing aging gracefully if you go to the fucking Met Gala. Like, that's not doing anybody any favors in this world.
It's a shame. I was really enjoying the Pamela Anderson renaissance.
Yeah.
But switching off now, unfollowing.
Then we've got, this one broke my heart, million pieces. Andre 3000, another musical genius. And not only that, but did you see what he turned up in, John? Did you see what he turned up in?
I don't think I did.
You may just have a little goggle. Andre 3000 Met Gala 2025, and then tell everybody what you see.
Can't even type. I'm so nervous. Lord, look at that. Okay. So Andre 3000 wears piano at Met Gala and drops a 7 piano sketches album. So basically, Andre has come in a pretty unremarkable outfit. It's just kind of looks like navy blue denim almost. And it's a sort of, he's got a red, very flamboyant looking beret on, but most importantly, he has a piano strapped to his back. And he's carrying a kind of plastic rubbish bag. I don't know where that's come from, but I'm not a fashion guy. Yeah, he's done a bit of the derelict look there with the plastic sort of the classic bin bag, kind of kitchen bin tidy bag.
I was thinking it's giving Jaden Smith Castle head.
Totally is, yeah. And that is a shame because he's very talented, but also he's always struck me as somebody who's a bit shy of the spotlight and kind of goes off and does strange things and doesn't really care
has an album to promote.
That's right.
To promote.
That's right.
And he wore the piano to promote the album. He saw Katy Perry with a butterfly set list in space and he thought, I can't get up to space, but I'll do my piano back. John, you're going to be real sad because Bad Bunny, your favorite, was there. Bad Bunny, Hailey Berry, of course, Hailey Bieber was there.
I feel like every time there's something bad like this, Bad Bunny is on the list.
Totally. He says yes to all of the elite showmanship opportunities. Then we have Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, Mary J. Blige, Stella McCartney, Adrian Brody, John. You want another recent DPTM episode slagging off nominee.
Him giving the longest speech ever at the Oscars and taking advantage of poor old Harvey Weinstein's misfortune by hooking up with his wife when Harvey went to prison. And now this.
Adrian, you are so many strikes to your name, Adrian. I don't know what you'd have to do to get on my show. Cardi B was there, of course. Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter. I still don't know who you are. Emma Chamberlain, she was there, of course, mentioned it before. This one broke my heart a little, but not really. It's kind of to be expected. I think the whole, like, I'm authentic, I'm of the people. It's always a ruse. Charlie XCX, you let us down, Charlie XCX. Brat Summer officially over with your appearance at the Met Gala.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course he was there. James Corden.
Oh my God. It is. It's a real DPTM shit list, isn't it? Like James Corden. Man, the man we love to hate so much.
Then we got another recent.
Love being there.
Oh my God, he's pure Met Gala.
Yeah.
He'd be complaining about the eggs and having a waiter on minimum wage fired.
Screaming at the waiters.
We've got another recent mention of Lana Del Rey with a crocodile fan boat husband. I don't know if he was there, but Lana Del Rey was there. Doechii, she's the new
not.
Doechii's. He was what?
His husband wasn't there. He was doing his bayou tours. He was like, sorry, baby, it's high season down the bayou. I can't come.
He's just got his hat. He's getting his hat. He's counting his tips out of his hat. He wasn't even looking at her, as he said, pulling these crumpled notes out of his bayou hat that had gator blood on it.
Baby, I got to get my gumbo money.
That's good. That's good tipping. Doechii, she's the new star in town. She's got that song. She's got that song that samples Gautier, somebody that I used to know, that goes, "Somebody's watching me." It's a viral hit. I don't really like it.
No,
another total fake that claims to sort of be like, "Oh, look, I'm just from the internet. I'm just like you guys," and then always slags off her fans and seems like a bit of an entitled person to me. Doja Cat, somebody else I really used to like. Now, no time for that. I don't know how to pronounce this. Ayo Edebiri. She's the sort of sous chef from The Bear.
Oh yeah, okay.
AKA Stressful Sandwiches.
Yeah, Stressful Sandwiches.
She was there.
Did you make that up? That's great.
That's what I call it. I call it Stressful Sandwiches.
Yeah.
You're never going to believe
God damn it. This thing has 4 ingredients. Man down.
Fuck. The next one, John, you're going to be like, I can't believe that person went. They're the least met person that I've ever thought of. How could you have gone? It's Cynthia Erivo.
Oh, not Cynthia Erivo.
And she just began to weep uncontrollably at the beauty of black dandyism.
I bet. Fucking bet.
Yeah.
But Ariana, we won't get to that. But some other people from Wicked were not there, and I wonder why. But anyway, Cynthia
we're going to get to that. Walter Goggins. I don't know what about Walter Goggins. He's in he's
having a moment because he's
having a moment.
He's been in
White Lotus.
The new White Lotus. He was in he's in Fallout, the kind of the miniseries based on the computer game. And he's just got a nice accent and big teeth and a big forehead. And people are saying that's the kind of energy we need now. We've gone off rat-faced men, and that make sandwiches and swear. And we've gone to kind of laconic, large foreheaded men. So who am I to say that's a bad thing? But he also kind of gives this. He gives a kind of anti-Hollywood energy.
I thought that. This is the thing. There's all these people who I thought gave anti-Hollywood, and they're at the Met Gala. John, no surprises here. Whoopi Goldberg, man that you
she doesn't give an anti-Hollywood energy.
She
sadly.
does not give an anti-Hollywood energy. A man that you snapped a photo of, and he got angry at you, Jeff Goldblum.
Man, Jeff Goldblum. I used to have a lot of affection for Jeff, but I'm really sick of his eccentricity. He does the same sort of, I'm Jeff Goldblum every time I see him. And I'm like,
So I went to the Met Gala and Anna Wintour, very good friend of mine. Yes. That's what he just said. Black dandyism. I've come as a black dandy. What are you? That's my goal.
right.
John, who the hell is Gigi? I don't really know who Gigi Hadid is.
No, so she's a kind of Kardashian-esque hanger-oner, really. She's a socialite, I suppose you could say. Fashion model and television personality, who I think has an interesting, not unlike the Kardashians, has an interesting kind of lineage, but is herself pretty uninteresting.
Okay. Now, another one that broke my heart, just because I've always had a massive crush on her. Anne Hathaway was there with her new face. She's looking great with the little distinct scars next to her ears. She's looking real beautiful. Of course, we've got. You can't have black dandyism without Lauryn Hill. Then we've got, of course, Kendall Jenner. Then we've got, of course, Kylie Jenner. Then we've got, you can't have black dandyism with Colin Kaepernick. He was there. John, there. He was there. You're going to be so sad, John. Mindy Kaling. Best friend of Meghan Markle. Mindy Kaling.
I always remember her from being in an on-again, off-again relationship with another very Hollywood guy, BJ Novak, who played Ryan in The Office. And they were also together in real life. But she seems to have gone from being a kind of girl next door type to being a girl living in a villa in Beverly Hills type.
Yeah, well, she also doesn't look like she looked like a real person. She was a South Asian woman with a rounded figure. I always thought she was like quite cute, and now she has like plastic face, and she looks like she's gone to the diner for a big old slice of Ozempic pie every morning. She just looks weird. She just looks like a fucking alien. She's got a kind of, she's just like she used to be this kind of relatable, oh yeah, she'd be a cool hang. And now she's with Meghan Markle, like with this. And and she's all stick thin. And you're going, this ain't right, John. You're going to be so sad that Barry Keoghan was there. He was meant to be the everyman. He was meant to be the rat face. He was meant to make men all around the world think they had a chance of stardom.
It's true.
He was meant to make men all around the world think they had a chance of stardom.
I mean, imagine. I mean, he did come from like foster homes in Ireland, so good on him. He's really he's beaten the odds.
That's true. That's true. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
He's not coming on.
No, he can't. Sorry, Barry.
Alicia Keys, of course, one of our fellow country women. No surprises here. Nicole Kidman was there. Dua Lipa was there. And another person. There's a few names that you just go. Modern Met Gala, there's nothing more modern Met than Lizzo.
It's true.
Lizzo's never saying no to the Met Gala.
She won't miss it, will she? She is always there.
She's pure Met. Lorde was there. Lorde got a few column inches because she mentioned her gender and how she was feeling about her gender on the red carpet. She was saying that she was feeling a bit like she had like masculine energy on the red carpet. Of course, you can't have
my eyelids open to hear that interview.
You can't have a Met Gala without Madonna.
Royals. Now she is a royal. Madonna, yeah, of course. I mean, she has always been. When Madonna's there, you know that you're in a salt of the earth gathering of people.
Totally. Oh my God, Mads talking about old balloon-headed Mads. She's got a little valve inserted here where she just gets a bike pump, and she just every few weeks she just pumps her balloon head up.
She probably regrets actually that she got radically transformed before whatever's happened in the last 2 years. True. That's allowed people like Anne Hathaway to be ageless in a way that's a bit more convincing and sustainable.
Yeah, Lindsay, get the Lindsay Lohan treatment.
Lindsay Lohan. I mean, how can Anne Hathaway go when she made a whole movie about not liking Anna Wintour and forging her own path? Yeah,
isn't it?
Now she's in real life.
What a hypocrite.
She's a person that her character would have hated.
That's right. Totally. She's probably screaming. Anne Hathaway's probably screaming at her assistant about her about not getting, about, there being something on her sandwich that she doesn't like. Of course, John. Of course, Demi Moore was there.
Yeah.
This kind of broke my heart, but again, I think this sort of goes to show you that a lot of these people that sell a kind of authenticity, when the rubber hits the road. Janelle Monáe was there. She's meant to be this kind of like you know, again, of the people, seemed a bit more authentic, anti-Hollywood. Nah. Rihanna, of course, was there. Chapel Roan, who's the new...
Sorry, one sec. Is Janelle Monáe... Yeah, I'm just
I really liked her first album.
Yeah.
She just has a beautiful voice, and it was like super funky and musical. And I thought, this is a person I can relate to. But then she goes to the Met Gala, and then she can't come on the show. And
for a second, I was thinking about Lisa Bonet, who's Lenny Kravitz's ex-wife, who is anything but a woman of the people. She's really in that Kravitz.
We should do a Chapel Roan episode because I don't really understand. I know that she was playing to Nobody a couple of years ago. There's all these famous social media videos of like shaky camera phone videos of 2 or 3 years ago where she's literally in like a parking lot under a tarpaulin playing to 3 people. And now she's the biggest thing in the world. But she gets a lot of media attention as well because she's constantly... Like, I mean, I say putting her foot in her mouth, but to be honest, it gets her so much media attention that I don't think it's on purpose, but I just think it works. I just think get someone who occasionally says things that divide people and, you know, outrage works. She famously, most recently said that all of her friends who have kids are miserable. And then a lot of parents jumped on and said, why don't you just get out of here? You know who I was happy to see? One person I was happy, she can't come on the show, but I was happy to see her because I didn't know she was alive. Diana Ross.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And she wore an 18-foot gown, which I love because somebody had to make that gown, and I would like to examine the supply chain that led to each of its 18 feet.
Shakira was there. This one made me sad, but again, I don't know this person very well. If I was to hazard a guess without knowing them super well, I would think that this is a person that he seemed super authentic. I love the things that he was in. I absolutely loved him in Ripley. Andrew Scott, who I think he's Irish, and he just seems like a cool actor. But again, if you're an actor, you got to go. You got to get if you're an up and coming actor who's just done a couple of shows and a couple of movies, you know, Brad Pitt doesn't have to go, but Andrew Scott has to go. Shakira was there.
Come on, I was in Fleabag. And I go, I was in Fleabag. Yeah.
Shakira was there, of course. And again, like, you can't have a Met Gala without self-obsessed. We said Rihanna already.
Did we? Shit. I thought I was waiting to hear Rihanna because she is the heart and soul of the Met Gala. I mean, she hasn't done anything in years that I'm aware of.
She's married to one of the co-chair. A$AP Rocky was on the special board, wasn't he, this year? Look at me, not a she, not a he. It's Sam Smith who's coming to the Met Gala this year, of course. There's nobody more Met Gala than Sam Smith. Do love a lot of Sam Smith songs, but don't really want to hear him say anything. Now the next one, John, this is going in alphabetical order, so maybe you know where this is going.
This was wearing something unholy. You got to let me have a little chance to fit my one line
every time. Yeah, I'm sorry. There's so many of these that I was just trying to string them all together. But I do need to. Perhaps if I'd shared the list with you at the start, you would have gone, "Oh man, that's going to be the show."
Think of a funny little thing to say about each of them. Anyway, go. We'll do it next
year. Mama. John, you and me, we spent our coming of age years in a little city named of Adelaide. And it's a 1.2 million person population city that's always trying to punch above its weight. We are overlooked. Not only is Australia a country that's having to punch above its weight down there, having to constantly try and express itself through success in sport, because we're just tiny and we're just, you know, we just haven't really been on the world stage in the way that we wish we, like our counterparts. People when come to Australia, they go to Sydney, they go to Melbourne, they go to Queensland, they go to Perth, even WA to cuddle a quokka. If you're lucky, maybe they even go to Darwin, maybe they even go to Cairns. If you're lucky, they come to Adelaide. So whenever anybody from Adelaide does well, we love feel so good. We love to boost them up.
Yeah.
And that's
why this next one hurts so bad.
This is why this next one hurts so bad. We loved Succession. Everybody loved Succession. And then when I told people that what's her name in the character Shiv Roy from Succession was played with an incredibly convincing, indistinguishable American accent by a girl from the Adelaide Hills, the name of Sarah Snook. We were so excited, and we thought, just like us, she loves Belair National Park. I love Belair National Park.
Totally.
It was such a great story.
She loves a Spice Mix restaurant in Brunswick. She was recently.
No way. There you go.
She was Pat there not long ago. I think she has a place in Brunswick where she lives when she's on this side of the world. And so I think of her as both a fellow Adelaidean and now a fellow Brunswegian.
And she married the guy from the Toyota AFL ads, who also, if you want to see him, he's this is getting very, very inside baseball. But anybody from Australia who remembers the Girling single Dust Me Selector, which is a fucking great track from some years ago. Girling Dust Me Selector music video, the guy who's the star of the video, who's wearing the headphones on the train and the music's going, I'm coming back to you, that's who Sarah Snook's married. So that even made me think she's more of a person of the people, because she didn't marry a fellow Met Gala attendee. She probably brought the Girling music video Toyota commercial guy to the Met Gala, which I love. A little baggie of good old fashioned Adelaide shag. She had a bit of THC heavy weed in a knapsack with her, and fruit chocks. Fruit chocks. And she didn't really understand the theme. She wore a life-size Farmers Unionised coffee carton as her costume to the Met Gala. Just waddled out with a life-size, with her face in the front panel and a little hand sticking out. And she said, "It's the dress-up party, isn't it?"
Yeah, exactly. This is my one costume for all purposes. When I hear that there's a theme, and she said, "I'm a dandy. I'm a dandy.
I'm a dandy. I'm a dandy." And that actually absolutely broke my heart, because we probably could have had her on. She probably could have got on the show. Like, I mean, what's the degree of separation? We obviously will know people that know her.
Yeah.
I could have just reached out to anybody. Yeah. Who do you know that knows her?
No, I take that back. Maybe I don't. I know people who know her. So I'm two degrees of separation away. I know someone who knows Wendy Zuckerman, who's the host of a podcast called Science Versus, and Wendy's brother played her love interest in Succession, whose name that I've forgotten. So I think Wendy would know her. And Wendy also lives in Brunswick. So I could just, next time I see Wendy in Brunswick, even though she doesn't know me, I'd run up and say, can we get Sarah Snook on the show? And she'd say, I don't know who you are, but maybe I could talk her around, but I won't do that anymore because she's on the shit list.
She's also a perfect example of, she's at the exact status that you have to go. Like she was the star of Succession, but she still has not been in the game anywhere near long enough that she can fuck around with this and be like, you know what? I'm not going to go. I'm just not, I'm Sarah Snook from Succession. I just won't go, and I'm still going to get roles. Forget about it. Forget about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Jeremy Allen White, also from Stressful Sandwiches.
Rat face. Yeah. He said, do I still have to go? I made rat sexy again. And they said, no, sorry.
What? They should. Next week.
To fucking to Bucktooth Chrome Dome, Walton Goggins. So you got to go now.
What is that look? What do they call the Buckface Chrome Dome? Is that what it's called?
Know. They call it the Goggins, I think.
It's Hot Goggins summer.
Hot Goggins. Exactly.
Get ready. Serena Williams was there, of course. Anna Wintour, of course, as the host. We've got again White Lotus. This disappointed me. Again, you sell me these people as people of the people, Amy Lou Wood, who's the girl who people have been saying, isn't it great she's in White Lotus because she hasn't had her teeth done like everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're going like, real people. But no, but again, in the position that this is, you have to go. She has to go. She's in no position to say, but she turned up. Again, if you couldn't be more relatable turning up with Patrick Schwarzenegger on your arm, Amy. Fucking hell.
Probably her agent sorted that out too.
Yeah. I don't know who Zendaya is. I just keep seeing this name. Who's
don't you?
Who's Zendaya? Like, what does she do?
She's an actress. She's been in the Dune movies and another movie about a threesome based around tennis, The Challengers it was called, I think. Okay. She's with Tom Holland.
I don't know who that is either.
With Tom Holland.
Is he maybe I do. Maybe I've seen his face.
Tom Holland was in he's kind of a bit like I'm going to get lost with names now, but he's a British guy and he's kind of a very down-to-earth kind of character. He's won a bunch of BAFTAs and he's been in the Marvel universe. I think they're both probably in that universe, which is why you don't know them.
Okay.
You keep your distance.
I keep my distance from the universes. Leon Bridges, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm slightly disappointed. Love Leon's music. Love his Texas. I love his Texas son. UK hip-hop sensation Central C was there, of course. Of course, Jimmy Fallon was there. Of course, Jamie Foxx was there. John, you're going to be so shocked. Gayle King was there.
Oh, no. She didn't, not even seeing that pale blue dot hanging in the blackness of space could convince her that the Met Gala was a vacuous waste of time.
Spike Lee was there, of course. Tyler Perry was there. The godfather of black dandyism, Tyler Perry, I call him. Of course, Chris Rock was there. Slightly disappointing because Chris Rock, he feels like somebody that's straddling these two worlds.
Yeah,
like
he does.
Although I guess he did host the Oscars, which we famous. John,
exactly.
you're gonna be shocked and disappointed. Jaden Smith was there.
Oh no! What? Not Jaden. I wonder if Jaden and Chris smoked a joint together in the toilets, and they said, "Sorry, my dad slapped you," and Chris said, "Don't worry about it. It's just because you're my real son," and he knows that.
That would be fucking so good. That's you're the real son. You're my real son. Give him a little pat on. Giving him a little pat on his castle head. Stormzy was there again. Disappointing, but it's all fake authenticity. Usher was there. Usher still has a lot to answer for, but seems to be again playing the whole. No, I don't have to talk about any of that.
It's the last one before he gets caught up in the maelstrom, and they say, "Didn't you go to Diddy parties?"
Yeah, did you?
Surely you were there.
That's pretty much the naughty list, John. That's pretty extensive. So that's I thought now we could just skip to the list of people who are on the hero list.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I haven't actually looked at this, so we're going to be looking at this together for the first time. So I think what you'll notice here, I could be wrong. Here's my guess. My guess is that these people are so enormous that they don't need Anna Wintour. They don't need to be schmoozing. They don't need to be greasing the right palms or keeping the right people happy to get work. That's going to be my guess. Number one, Beyonce. Beyonce didn't go.
Yeah, she doesn't need to please anyone these days. She's just
doesn't need to please anyone.
I'm just going to play for some, Yemeni warlord because he offered me $1 billion. Fuck everyone.
That would be what a party that would be. Yemen Beyonce concert. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce didn't need to go.
No, they haven't been for years. I read. So there you go.
Naughty list proper. I don't know if these people were invited or not. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds
did not go. That's right. And they were the kind of co-conveners a few years ago. So they're very much of the Met Gala. But
they may have been disinvited because they have a lot of stink on their name right now.
That's true.
Pure Met Gala, but decided not to go because I guess maybe she's better than the Met Gala now. Lady Gaga. I mean, she's Lady New Gaga. York. She's fancy.
Yeah,
Lady
that's
Gaga.
True.
Billie Eilish didn't go. Props to Billie. Billie, you're back on the show.
Thanks. We'll get in touch with your agent. We can reschedule that appointment. Yeah.
His wife was there, But he was not. And I have so much love for this man. I don't care what anybody says. I love slop goof Justin Bieber. I was listening to Justin Bieber this week. He's got this song with SZA that I was listening to the acoustic version of.
Right.
I fucking love Justin Bieber's voice. And then I watched a video of him talking about he was doing a TikTok live talking about how you shouldn't expect to be happy all the time because people in the comments were saying, isn't the goal of life to be happy all the time? And Justin turned to the camera and he said, if a loved one dies, would you be happy? And the person went, Justin, your slop goof outfit and your deep wisdom is penetrating my brain, and I love that.
Yeah, we might have to get into Justin at some point because I'm worried, and you probably know more about it than I do. I'm worried that the rumors are true and he's having trouble. He's struggling. He's chewing his gums. He's on drugs. Yeah. Or is it a takedown from the Hollywood establishment?
That's what the question. Is it a take? We've heard from several people, notably TikTok superstar Candace Owens claims that it's a orchestrated PR Hollywood takedown because he's left his management and you don't get to leave the system. It's the mafia. There's rules. To be a pervert he's a made guy. You can't just be a made guy and then just turn around to the people that made you and said, we don't really want to, you're not getting a slice of my action anymore. It's not how Hollywood works.
Okay.
Again, this probably would have been her last Met Gala, Jennifer Lopez, because she's going to have to talk about what she was doing in the club with Diddy and that firearm.
That's true. It's true. She didn't go, keeping a low profile.
Again, sometimes I think maybe these people just want a cup of tea and toast in bed because they would otherwise be there. Sarah Jessica Parker wasn't there. Yeah.
I mean, she wouldn't be boycotting it on ethical grounds, let's say. But,
just cup of tea and toast.
Yeah.
John, maybe you were going to mention this. Ariana Grande wasn't there.
Yeah, she's pure Met Gala, but she did not go. And she could have, maybe she's a bit sick of what's her name? Arrivo, that's it. Maybe she's a bit like, every time I see you, you just cry and squeeze my finger. I've had enough of it. I just want to have normal, low-key interactions with people.
I just mentioned her. SZA was not there. And but it says SZA has had memorable looks at the Met Gala in previous years, but this year she missed out on the event because she was busy. Well, a lot of these people just say are on tour. This doesn't count.
No.
I thought these were people that said, like, go fuck yourself, but all these people are on tour. The Weeknd wasn't there.
Oh, no.
Selena Gomez wasn't there. Naomi Campbell wasn't there. I mean, Naomi Campbell, boy, has she got some fucking answers. She's got some things to answer for, Naomi Campbell. There's some skeletons in that closet, let me tell you right now, Shyamalan. John, that's kind of everybody. There wasn't a lot of people.
It's the only one I know about. Okay. I don't think you listed. Gigi
guys,
was there, but
Bella will be on next week's show.
She'll be there talking about the rift with Gigi because one of them didn't go and one of them did. And we'll say we'll open with the question. So neither of us are really clear on who you are. Can you just take us through the Hadid family story?
John, that's been the Met Gala episode. I want to wrap it up by just saying, guys, if it's not obvious yet, alternative media like Don't Praise the Machine is where it's at. You might even, if you want to get even more alternative and more weird, you can always sign up to the Patreon. We've had a couple of new sign-ups recently. I want to say thank you all so much to our members. Patreon.com/DPTM or just Google or Perplexity or ChatGPT. Don't Praise the Machine, the podcast. Patreon, you get the episodes one day early and you get the bonus After Dark episode, which will be coming out this Friday, members only. Plus, certain tiers get access to exclusive Don't Praise the Machine merch. John, I've been wearing the Don't Praise the Machine t-shirt all around Berlin. It really fits a bunch of my outfits. You chose really good color scheme for
That's great.
The image. Do you want to tell people what the image is, or
I thought I want to? It's a very kind of apt image. I'm sure that it's an image that's burned into Chris Rock's brain. It's a kind of stylized image of the classic slap event. And it says Hot Schlag, and it's got our faces on it with microphones. Thank you, Al. It was really fun designing it. I you and I are always talking about how this podcast adventure that we're on has made me develop a bunch of new skills that I did not have on my bingo card, like designing thumbnails and T-shirts. That was not a subject at law school.
And invites.
And invites. That's right. I recently had to design an invite, and I made use of my Canva capabilities, and I was very grateful to be able to knock that up in about half an hour, whereas previously I would have had to hand draw it, take it down to the photocopier at the library.
That would have been great. Just fucking like, man, I've not used a photocopier for a while. Let's bring back some memories of various sounds and smells. Have such a distinct smell, photocopiers.
They do.
Man,
they do.
That ink, that inky toner aroma. That inky toner aroma.
You could bottle it.
You could bottle it. Now that's what I want to say, John. This is where it's at, alternative media. I'm not saying that all mainstream media is just saying terrible things all the time. Obviously, the New York Times does great work. Hey, even the Daily Mail does great work. Sometimes we get a real hand from the Daily Mail for ideas for this show.
We do all the time. And not only that, but before the days of the podcast, when I was bored at work, I didn't go and read long form articles in the Australian Financial Review. I got on the Daily Mail and I lapped up some celebrity slop. So they have a role to play.
Yeah, but just be aware. Something, if there's a gala event full of celebrities who are paying $75,000 a ticket, and they're all looking down at you like you're all a bunch of plebs, and then like these papers like the New York Times are writing 15 glowing articles. Just notice that. Just notice it. What's going on? What's going on here?
What is happening?
What is happening here? Ask yourself what's happening here, and then pop over to Don't Praise the Machine, the podcast, and click subscribe. Leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and that has been the 2025 Met Gala wrap. We'll be back next year. This is the other thing I wanted to say, John. Particularly in response to the fact that all of these media organizations just wrote total puff pieces. There will be endless, I'm talking to you, Anna Wintour, I'm looking directly down the barrel of this camera, unrelenting Met Gala wrap-ups and criticism for the rest of the time. There's not going to be a year that we do not do a full Don't Praise the Machine episode. We'll find different reasons. We'll do deeper dives. I'll look at weird histories of the Met. I'll look at weirder things that are going on.
We'll go through the bins out the back of Vogue if we have to and find dirt.
Exactly. Daily Mail, I don't give a shit. All these puff pieces. The other thing that we didn't mention, which kind of makes me angry, is like a lot of the criticism with these kind of like, celebrity fashion people that just went, oh my God, Met Gala, so terrible because the outfits, boring. Yeah. Like that also just helps them not face the real criticism. Just so you're aware, what you should have done is gone, oh my God, guys, class warfare, let's bring it on. That's what those celebrity people should have been doing.
Absolutely.
And so what is this, May the 8th? Is it always in May? Because it's going to be, we put it in the calendar. Anna, it's in the calendar every single year for John and Alex and everybody I also want to say to everybody on the naughty list, all it takes is 1 year of not going when you were probably invited and you get back on. That's the rule.
Yeah.
So Beyonce, you're back. Kendrick Lamar, you're back. Ryan Reynolds, we'd love to have you on the show. I'd love to do a little powwow with Baldini and Ryan Reynolds on Don't Praise the Machine.
Let's get him.
Let's shake hands.
Guys, let's sort this out here and now.
I love that Baldoni. I love sweet Baldoni. Sweet Baldoni.
He's a real Hollywood masterpiece, that guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Don't Praise the Machine, John Maloney, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Podcast.